Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch, you
Yes, dear
guys.
listener, yes, dear
Avenged
listener.
Sevenfold all night,
Yes,
to my understanding.
Dear
That's
listener,
correct, right?
Avenged Sevenfold all the freaking night, you losers.
We have DJ Nick in the
Nick,
house. Whoop,
DJ Nicholas, DJ Nicholas, Randy in the house. Randy in the house. Oh, we got a lot of people in the place. We got a lot of people in the place. We're gonna be listening to some Avenged Sevenfold all freaking night long. Thank you very much to the big homie DJ Nick in this bitch.
Ba, ba, ba.
We're also we've got another stream coming up pretty soon by the wonderful individuals in the Imperishable Flames. Wait for that. But right now, the
as
night
well
belongs.
as a return from DJ Tina.
Yes. But
So-
now the night belongs not to Tina,
Not
not
to
even
the
to
Imperishable Frame.
not even to you, dear listener. The night belongs to the man named Nick and his band, Avenged Sevenfold. Song
Yes,
numero uno. We got a couple things that we want to read, give you guys some background, DJ Revo style. We're going to give you guys some background, what's going on with these songs, y'all.
Okay, let's check it out.
Also, let me adjust the volume a little bit. A little bit. All right, here we go. Dak Prescott style. Avenged Sevenfold song, Chapter 4, off of their 2003 album, Waking the Fallen. Waking the Fallen is based on Chapter 4 in the book of Genesis.
No kidding. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that law?
That's Cain. Isn't that Cain and Abel, where God says to Cain, "The sin is crouching at the door"? Wasn't that chapter 4?
Yeah. Cain and Abel. What am I talking about? That's right. Also, the band's name.
I knew it, and you didn't.
The band's name comes from this chapter, right? Because when Abel, when Cain said, "Oh, you're gonna kill me," it'll be Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, that's where they got their name
So
from.
they got their name from the band.
Pretty sure
Avenged
somebody had
Sevenfold.
already told us that, but I definitely forgot it.
Oh, I said that like in the second review of Avenged Sevenfold, because once we started doing Avenged Sevenfold reviews, like Avenged Sevenfold fans kept telling us to do their songs.
Oh yeah, they're so hardcore.
That was the first group. Avenged Sevenfold was the first band that really like blew us up. That was the first time where it was like, whoa, you do this band, you're gonna get X amount of subscribers. So shout out to Avenged Sevenfold. If it wasn't for the way that we did songs, we would probably be doing 3 Avenged Sevenfold songs a week.
The other thing with Avenged Sevenfold fans is that they were like requesting, they were like came in a mob, and they were like requesting more and more and more and more songs, and I'm like, wow, the entire world is obsessed with this band, because I didn't realize, like...
Yeah, we didn't know how any of this stuff works, so we're like, oh my god, Avenged Sevenfold must be the biggest, the largest band of all time! Huh? Did they say our mic is out?
Yeah. Wait, did they hear any of it?
No.
I just touched it to turn it on.
Oh, okay.
Was it muted the whole time?
Okay.
Should we redo the intro?
No, we're not going to redo the intro.
Oh, people heard us then.
Type 22 if you can hear me. Type 22.
Okay. Wait.
We hear the song, not YouTube. They don't hear the song right now. It's just going to take a second. Type 22 if you can hear me. Type 22 if you can hear me. Yeah. I am seeing the thingamajiggy. Mm-hmm. Got it now. 22. Okay, we heard. Okay. All right. We're coming back. Avenged Sevenfold, Chapter 4, Shout Out to Middle Earth. Let's do it again. Type 22 if you can hear the song. Let's go! Some Iron Maiden shit. Yeah. The Iron Maiden.
Raise
Wow.
Woo!
Avenged Sevenfold, you
Avenged
guys.
Sevenfold.
What was the name of this one? I know it's about Cain.
Chapter.
Chapter
Literally,
4.
it's called Chapter
That's right,
4.
Chapter 4.
Yeah, it's called Chapter 4.
Okay.
That song, that story, that Jordan Peterson said is one of the most compelling stories he's ever heard, if not the best story in all of literature. He said that, in the Brothers Karamazov, I think he said was the greatest story of all time. But
Raise stop.
Cain and Abel, the story of Cain and Abel is an insane story, man. Because of its applicability to the modern day. It's a narrative, it's an archetype that at least in the Western side of the world we haven't been able to get out of. I mean, it's a literary device. The Cain and Abel model is a literary device in literature where you set up these two characters. So famous ones would be Batman versus Joker, particularly in the one with Heath Ledger, right? That's a Cain and Abel model. And so that concept of the good brother and the bad brother, and the bad brother killing the good brother and all the rest of it, all of that is strikes really close to the heart of human nature, and unfortunately we're seeing it getting played out right now on the world stage.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Oh
so that's pretty crazy. Did Cain even realize what death was then? That's an interesting question. In other words, did Cain mean
to kill his brother when
operate in such a way that did he understand what death was? And I think he did, for a couple of reasons. One, God told his first parents, the day you eat of this fruit, you'll surely die. Or the literal Hebrew says, the day you eat of it, dying you shall die. Is what the literal Hebrew says. Dying you shall die is actually what it says. Mm-hmm. And so there's this ongoing component where the death begins immediately. And then there's also a terminus moment where the death is actually actualized on the physical plane. But the threat makes no sense if they had no concept of what death was. My understanding, most of us have a sort of Darwinian understanding of early people, that they were not as intelligent as we are, and then now that we're more intelligent. And I always say, like, yeah, okay, read an essay from a third grader in Boston from 100 years ago, and then tell me intelligence. Good night, forget it. The amount of intelligence it took to build the wheel or harness fire or create language. We talked about that as language as a form of technology that incredible. But anyway, the other thing is that the scripture says that when God kicks Adam and Eve out of the garden.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
It said, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say when he kicked them out of the garden, before he did, he put on them skins from animals.
Garments of skin.
Animal skins. So obviously to obtain those skins, you would have to kill an animal. And God had told them that when they sinned, that it was going to bring forth death. And so then right before them, they're seeing the animals that they took care of. Now one is being killed, and now their skins are on them. So I think it was probably a pretty crazy moment. At the same time, God's protection was there. And
by the way, the entire thing that started the beef was relative to sacrifice. Mm-hmm. That's the entire thing that God Abel killed was the sacrifice. Right. And so Abel knew what it was to kill an animal, at least, because Abel was a farmer, a shepherd, and Cain was a worker of the ground. It's just fascinating. Go ahead. What's going on with you?
I always, for some reason, it was like flipped in my head. Who had what job? Right. Cain. Abel was the animal guy?
Abel was the animal guy.
Why did I get that mixed up in my head?
Abel was the animal guy, and Cain was the
I think
fruit of the ground
because
guy.
It's so surprising that it's like the garden guy is the one that
vegan.
goes and kills. Yeah,
it's the vegan. It's all you vegans running around.
Beware!
Y'all are murderous at heart.
Well, I mean,
and so you try to harness your murderous rage, and you keep it from the animals, but you spill it out against
on the
humans,
beings.
damn it.
It does seem to be a problem.
Does seem to be an issue with y'all.
NGL.
I'm fucking with y'all. Don't be angry. Don't be mad at me. Okay, so it says, Adam knew his wife Eve. She conceived and bore Cain, saying, I've gotten a man with the help of the Lord. Again, she bore his brother Abel. Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain was a worker of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So when Cain is born, Mom goes, I've gotten a man with the help of the Lord. Yahweh is involved in this situation. She has no real use for Adam. You know, Eve is like, you know, they had Lilith fair.
I mean, I've heard a lot
Lilith was like supposedly like the feminist version of Eve. Eve is pretty damn feminist if you actually read the thing.
Yeah.
She has absolutely no use for Adam after the garden. Absolutely none.
She's like, you didn't do your job.
And neither does Moses, by the way, but we continue. So she goes, so Cain is celebrated. Abel is not. So we have it in our heads like all through life, Cain is walking around like this, like angry and upset all the time, always rejected. And Abel's like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed person that everybody loves and he's always accepted. And so like Cain just finally got pushed over. That's not what happened. Cain was celebrated. Abel was not. Cain's birth is attached to divine intervention. Abel's birth is, I mean, cool, you're his brother. Right? Like, that's Abel's identity in the text. In the text, Cain is related to Eve and Yahweh himself. And then it's like, oh, Abel, his brother. Like, God isn't mentioned. Like, there's no celebration for Abel, nothing. So we have this idea that Cain was like, and, you know, I was like literally the middle child. And so, like, I was like,
so was I.
I was always like on the side of the bad guy in the Bible because I was always on the side of the jealous brother. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the bad kid, right? But like Cain, and here's the other thing about Cain. Cain worked the ground. Like who? His
like
father Adam.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know
and
this.
like God.
A lot of people, I was just about to say, a lot of people don't know this. It says it says that God made Adam, and then it says he planted a garden in the east of Eden and placed Adam there. Okay? Yep. So literally all they know as human beings is we garden. The creator is a gardener, father is a gardener, and now here comes Cain, a chip off the old block.
Yep.
And he is a ground worker. But Abel decides he's going to do something they've never heard of before and start herding sheep. Like, that's not a chip off the old block.
Yeah.
That's not something we're told Adam does. He
told him he was supposed to take care of the animals, though, right?
Well, he was supposed to have dominion. But his actual job, like how he made his money, was to be a gardener. And Cain is a chip right off the old block. He would have learned that from Dad. But Abel now has taken off and does his own thing. Mm. And I think, my theory is that they both offered a gift or a sacrifice. And God accepts Abel's and he does not accept Cain's. And so I don't think Cain is like an oppressed person who was always getting shafted. I think Cain is more of a spoiled.
And that might have been the first time.
Why can't you accept this? Because Dad loves it, right? Adam would have loved all the things that Cain would have done. An industry, one is dealing directly with bloodshed, the other is basically like the most righteous person you could be in modern 2023 because Cain isn't killing anyone. He's not killing any sentient beings, causing any harm to animals. Like, I'm not like, I promise you, like, I'm not trying to be funny, but talk to any vegan, they do feel kind of like a moral, like my Hindu friend, like when they get together, they call us dog eaters, like people who eat meat. So, like, Can you imagine, like, if you were Cain, it's like your brother's choosing this bloody, horrible, disgust, and he smells industry. Meanwhile, I'm doing what God did, and I'm doing what my dad did. I've been celebrated my entire time. Me and Dad got a pretty decent bond because I'm doing what he was doing, what he learned directly from God.
Yep.
So now when I go to give my gift, and I'm giving this thing, which is right in line with the family kind of line, and then you got this guy that went off and did his whole thing. You're thinking he's going to accept your. He's going to say, "Good old job, just like your dad," and this is what I remember, and why can't?
Yeah, exactly.
And then look at Abel, but that's not what happened. And I think Cain couldn't handle it. I think it was the first time that Cain.
Interesting.
I think it was the first time that Cain heard no. And the issue is that God. I'm going to say something really provocative. God wanted blood. He didn't want grape juice. And the reason is because right now I got 17,000 dead Palestinians under rubble. I just saw a video of a worker digging out a child no bigger than my 3-year-old. And he was basically yanking this kid out like a rag doll. He was completely lifeless. And then, like 5 minutes later, I'm scrolling through Soraya's pictures, and there's this picture of Orion and Reza, and it's a slow motion picture. And Orion is running randomly toward his brother, and I'm like looking at this picture like, what's going to happen here? And he randomly runs to his brother, and they both do this like embrace and circle each other, and it's in slow motion. And I'm putting both of those scenes side by side in my head. I said, that's why God wants blood. Because that parent, that child, is just as valuable as my kids. But I'm supposed to tell that Palestinian mother and father to forgive the people that did that to their kid, while my kid is completely fine. Nah. Somebody has to die to pay for what happened to that child. Somebody has to die for that shit. So God wanted blood because he knew he was going to put it all on Jesus. And Jesus was going to have to bleed a lot. And God is communicating to humanity. That's great. Chip off the old block. Husbandry, gardening, I love it. At the end of the day, the world is going to be a garden. This is great. This is what I told y'all to do. But you guys got some real dark shit swimming around in your heart, man. And you guys don't understand it now because there's like 18 of y'all on the planet. But believe me, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed. You guys need to understand, I will forgive you. And you have to forgive each other. But I'm going to pay a price for your guys' bullshit. So Cain, that's really cool about the vegan stuff, bro. That's really cool that you're a chip off the old block. But you got something inside of you, dude. And you better watch out. You need blood just like your brother needs blood. I know you got to judge your brother. Your brother is a nasty meat eater. He's a dog eater. He's this or that. He's not as cool as you. He can't relate to Adam the way that you can.
Oh my gosh.
But I promise you, there's something swimming in your heart, dude. And if you don't get that shit right, you're going to see why we need a blood sacrifice.
Yeah, that's crazy because if he was looking at his brother, sort of like judging his brother for having his hands in the bloodshed, you know what I mean? And then, not X amount of verses later, his hands are covered in blood. And the ground is, the blood of his brother is crying out from the ground to Allah.
Yeah. And look, man. You know what Cain said in response to that? He said, oh, you want blood? Cool. You want blood? I'll give you blood. Now, he wasn't going to humble out and go to his brother and say, hey, I need one of them lambs from you, little bro. He said, oh, you want blood, Yahweh? Cool, I'll give you blood. And he killed his brother, man. Now, the song ends by talking about God banishing Cain and sending Cain out and the punishment being too much for Cain to bear. And I just want people to understand what actually happened because a lot of people don't understand. So here is what actually happened. Okay? So God says to Cain, you're going to be a wanderer. Cain said to Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me away today from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. And the Lord said to him, not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold. So that's where we get the term Avenged Sevenfold. Avenged Sevenfold is actually God telling Cain, I am going to be your personal bodyguard and I'm not going to let anyone touch you. And if anybody touches you, I will kill their whole family. That's what Avenged Sevenfold means. 7 is the number of perfection, right? So Cain will be avenged sevenfold. So God found a way to mark Cain in such a way that anybody seeking vengeance on behalf of Abel would be terrified and disabused in following that path to protect him. So the mark of Cain is a form of aggressive protection from God on behalf of this murderer. A lot of people don't understand
what
that
was
part
actually
of it.
happening there. Yeah.
So it says, not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest any who found him should even attack him. Now look what it says. So God says, I'm not going to let that happen. I give you my word. Look, boom, here's the mark. Nobody's going to touch you. And Cain's response is, great. And look what it says. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord. Okay. The text did not say that God drove him away from his presence. It said Cain went away from the presence of the Lord. But Cain did not go away from the presence of the Lord until after the Lord guaranteed his safety.
Yeah.
And once God guaranteed his safety, Cain said, well, once you've done that, I'm out of here because I know you're not going to go back on your word. See ya. And Cain went off and did his thing. And God rained down fire and brimstone on Cain after that. Actually, no, that's not what happens. Actually, what actually happens is God continues to bless this dude, gives him children, gives him a wife, and then his kids are actually pretty brilliant, and they build cities and create industry and all the rest of it.
I think, Ian, the when you're looking at somebody else's story, it's very easy to see, like, wow, like, look at all the shit that he did. And, like, God, why was God even trying to care about him in that situation? But the scripture says that God causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust alike. If all of us were to write down our lives and we were to see all the blessings that God has given us and all the shit that we've done, people would say the same thing about us. They'd be like, why did he care so much for that person to give him anything? With Cain's story, it's easy to look at him and judge because it's someone else, but it's a little bit harder to look in at our own lives and say, why has God been so gracious to me? Why has he cared for me? Why is it that I
look at our country?
Yeah.
Our country is culpable to some degree for what's happening to those Palestinian people right now. And obviously, God has protected this country. The point of these stories, I mean, you can take them literally, you can take them historically, I do. You can take them allegorically and get the same sort of benefit from it, which is, look, man, no matter how much better you think you are than the next guy, you got something swimming around in your being that's not good. And that if you don't recognize and get and ask for help in overcoming, it will overcome you. Full stop. And if you don't believe that, all you have to do is look at history. We're at the most technologically advanced time in human history. We've got nuclear technology. We've got so many amazing things, and all we do is use it to kill each other. I'm not saying we don't have benefits. We do have benefits. But look at the story of human history. What are the odds that we're the best people ever? God said to Cain, sin is crouching at your door. Its desire is to have you, but you must master it. Now, I want to say one thing. Somebody made the comment, God kept Cain alive so that he could deal with the pain of guilt or something like
so
that.
He would have to live in his guilt. Forced to live with his guilt.
I don't think that that's the case. And the reason I don't believe that's the case is because the scripture says that children are a reward from God. And so the next thing we hear about Cain is that he gets married and that he has children and that those children prosper. He builds a city
He's
and
also
names it
successful.
after
Nobody has
his
any
sons.
success unless God gives him that success. And God blessed him with children, and then he built an entire city.
So, Cain had proposition gods with 10 animals. So, yeah. So my point is the point of the Cain and Abel story, whether you take it allegorically or literally, is to really look at yourself and see in yourself those areas where it doesn't even matter if you hold to a Christian doctrine of sin. Just the areas in your life where you just fall short of your own standards and say, that's where you're like Cain. And then our propensity for defensiveness and our propensity for justifying our own bullshit. It's all there. The problem is that we've turned Cain into like Hitler.
Yes, yeah.
And so nobody wants to associate themselves with that.
Right.
And so we miss the entire point of the story because we're out here judging Cain and then trying to find ways in which we're able. It's like Jesus shows up and Jesus shows up and says, like, I'm the only real Abel, and I'm also the sacrifice, and you're Cain. That's it. That's the story. That's the end of the story.
And again, God is the one that is merciful to Cain, and so God is merciful to us if we ask.
Yeah, and that's why we have music as awesome as Avenged Sevenfold. I'm going to give this one a 9.6. Very strong opening.
9.5 for me.
Very strong.
What's up, Pony?
Dank edibles. I don't know if that's blasphemous. I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. All right, guys, we're coming back on another commercial break. We'll be right back.
I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you.
Positive review.
Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. That was an overcorrection. That was an overcorrection.
You know what happens, babe?
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Rubbish indeed.
Rubbish.
That's British for garbage.
Yeah. Maybe what we could do